Everyone thinks Jeremy Clarkson built a beer company, but that's not what really happened. Hidden inside every bottle of Hawkstone is a business strategy that most farmers never see. One that transformed ordinary British barley into one of the UK's fastest-growing agricultural brands. And the most surprising part, the beer may have never been the real product. Today, we're uncovering the secret business model hiding behind Clarkson's Rebel beer and why it could change the future of British farming forever. If you've watched Clarkson's farm, you've probably laughed at Jeremy Clarkson's mistakes. The broken machinery, the sheep escaping, the endless arguments with Caleb Cooper, the local council battles, the impossible weather. It often feels like Clarkson is simply documenting the chaos of farming. But beneath all that entertainment lies something many viewers completely miss. While millions of people were watching a television show, Jeremy Clarkson was quietly building an agricultural brand. And Hawkstone beer became one of its most powerful pieces. To understand why this matters, we have to go back to the beginning. Because Hawkstone wasn't born inside a brewery. It started in a barley field. When Jeremy Clarkson bought Diddley Squat Farm in the Cotswolds, many people assumed it was another celebrity hobby. A television presenter playing farmer. Something entertaining, something temporary. Reality arrived much faster. Modern farming is brutally expensive. Diesel prices rise. Fertilizer costs fluctuate. Machinery breaks. Weather ignores every carefully made plan. And then there's the market itself. For many British farmers, growing an excellent crop doesn't guarantee making money. Especially when that crop is barley. Most barley growers don't decide what their harvest is worth. Global commodity markets do. One poor season, one oversupply, one price collapse. Months of hard work can disappear almost overnight. Clarkson experienced that reality firsthand during the early seasons of Clarkson's farm. Instead of discovering an easy business, he discovered just how fragile farming had become. Then something happened that changed the direction of his thinking. Instead of asking, "How do I grow more barley?" he started asking, "What happens after the barley leaves my farm?" That question sounds simple, but it changes everything. Because the real money wasn't necessarily inside the crop. It was inside what the crop could become. Most farmers sell barley. Breweries buy barley. Breweries make beer. Retailers sell beer. Every step adds value. Yet the farmer, the person who grew the crop, often receives the smallest share. Clarkson began looking at that chain differently. Why stop at selling grain when you could help sell the finished story? That idea eventually became Hawkstone. Named after an ancient standing stone near Diddley Squat Farm, the brand wasn't positioned as just another celebrity beer. Instead, it carried a very deliberate message. British barley, British farming, British production. Supporting that message resonated far beyond fans of Clarkson's farm, because around the same time, British agriculture faced growing uncertainty. Production costs continued climbing. Subsidy systems were changing. Celebrity brands usually fade after the publicity fades. Hawkstone didn't. Instead, distribution expanded. Independent pubs began stocking it. Retail partnerships followed. Then supermarkets. Consumers who had never watched Clarkson's farm started recognizing the brand on shelves. That wasn't happening because of television alone. It was happening because the product kept finding new customers beyond Clarkson's existing audience. Here's where the story becomes much more interesting. Most businesses spend enormous amounts of money trying to create a brand people trust. Clarkson already had something unusual. Millions of viewers had watched him struggle, fail, learn, lose money, start again. Those weren't advertisements, they were stories. Every farming disaster made Diddley Squat feel real. Every mistake built authenticity. And authenticity is one of the hardest things any business can buy. Without even feeling like marketing, Clarkson's farm was introducing audiences to British agriculture week after week. By the time Hawkstone appeared, viewers already understood where its ingredients came from. They had watched the fields, the harvest, the weather, the machinery, the failures, the victories. The beer already had a story before anyone even opened the bottle. This is where many analysts believe Clarkson's real advantage exists. He's no longer selling only products, he's selling connection. Think about it. Someone watches Clarkson's farm, they become interested in British farming. They visit Diddley Squat Farm Shop. They try Hawkstone, maybe they visit the pub, maybe they buy merchandise. Every experience strengthens the next one. Instead of separate businesses, everything supports everything else. That's an incredibly difficult ecosystem to copy. You can build another brewery, you can build another farm shop, you can even make another television programmer. But recreating the relationship between all those pieces, that's much harder. Then came another unexpected development. As Hawkstone expanded, so did discussions around British ingredients. Clarkson repeatedly argued that British farmers deserved greater recognition. The beer became part of a much larger conversation, where food comes from, who grows it, why local agriculture matters. Whether people agreed with Clarkson or not, the discussion itself kept the brand visible. Even controversy sometimes became free publicity. Every interview, every newspaper headline, every television appearance. People became curious. What exactly is Hawkstone? That curiosity translated into attention. And in modern business, attention is one of the most valuable currencies of all. But perhaps the biggest surprise wasn't the publicity, it was the numbers. Recent business reports showed Hawkstone becoming one of Britain's fastest-growing beer brands, itself at Diddley Squat Farm. Growing quality barley wasn't enough. Once the crop left the farm, its value increased at every stage, but very little of that extra value returned to the farmer. That's where Hawkstone changed the game. Instead of selling only barley, Clarkson became part of the finished product. Every bottle carried a story that began in the fields viewers had already seen on Clarkson's farm. The television series didn't just entertain millions. It helped people understand the challenges facing modern British farming. Suddenly, customers weren't buying just another beer. They were supporting a farm they had watched struggle through bad weather, rising costs, council disputes, and unpredictable harvests. That emotional connection became something money alone couldn't buy. And that's the real secret. Not a secret recipe, not celebrity fame, but storytelling combined with genuine farming. As Hawkstone expanded into supermarkets, pubs, festivals, and international markets, it proved something important. Modern agriculture isn't only about producing food, it's about creating value around the people who produce it. Jeremy Clarkson often says farming is one of the hardest businesses in Britain. After watching his journey, it's difficult to disagree. Whether you love him or criticize him, Hawkstone has started conversations about supporting British farmers that simply weren't happening before. Maybe that's why the brand continues to grow. Because behind every bottle is more than barley. There's risk, there's hard work, there's failure. And there's a farmer refusing to accept that growing the crop should be the least valuable part of the process. Perhaps that's the lesson every farmer and every entrepreneur can learn from Clarkson's unexpected success. Sometimes the biggest opportunity isn't changing what you produce. It's changing how you present its story to the world. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the business behind Clarkson's farm, subscribe to Britain Decoder for more untold stories, hidden strategies, and the real economics behind Britain's biggest headlines. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.